Okay, it's time for a new pickups video, and it's of something that has a special place in my heart, and it's the Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Now, I first played Mass Effect on the PlayStation 3 console, and a bit of a funny story with that. That at the time, Mass Effect 2 was the first Mass Effect game available on the PlayStation 3. For some weird reason, Mass Effect 1 was available on the Xbox 360, but not the PlayStation 3. So, as many people may know, or maybe they don't know, certain decisions that you make in the Mass Effect game start with Mass Effect 1. And whether it's you go up against somebody, make an enemy of somebody, or a foe of somebody, or you have to make a choice on which of your crew member has to go down to a mission and then ends up dying, or who's your love interest. All these different permutations affect the storyline, obviously, of the ending of the game, and also the sequels. So with Mass Effect 2, storylines that you did in the decisions that you made in Mass Effect 1 would affect Mass Effect 2, and similar decisions that you make in Mass Effect 2 would affect Mass Effect 3. So you'd get different crew members may or may not die. Certain people would become your allies or wouldn't, and also different endings. So to overcome this with on the PlayStation 3, not having Mass Effect 1, you'd get a recap story on Mass Effect 2, and then what you would do is that you would it would allow you to choose or make certain decisions in the recap story, and then you would end up playing Mass Effect 2. And then obviously and then there's this particular story that happens in Mass Effect 2 where your crew members all get kidnapped, and basically the longer that you take to go and rescue them, the less of them that you manage to that you manage to save with your crew. So if your crew get kidnapped, which is what does happen in Mass Effect 2, and then you go straight away into rescuing your crew member, you'll basically get 100% of your crew back. Now, I made a mistake of not doing that and doing side missions because I thought it didn't matter until somebody told me that it affects it. And then I got about 80% of my crew. So, because I love the game so much, I then replayed the game and then did it again just to sit there to get the 100% of my crew back. I even did one game save where I played, where I played the character as a guy, and then another game save I played it as a woman, just to see, even though you get the same voice dialogue, but one's female and one's male. But that's how much I loved the game. Then there was Mass Effect 3 on the PlayStation 3, which I did have, which I still got, by the way. Still got both games. And then eventually, a couple of years later, they would release a Mass Effect trilogy physical, which then included Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3, but you couldn't buy Mass Effect 1 separately if you had Mass Effect 2 and 3 physically. So it would mean you'd have to rebuy it, and I couldn't be bothered to do it. So when I eventually got the Xbox One S, obviously some games are backward compatible, so I bought Mass Effect 1 on the 360, Mass Effect 2 and Mass Effect 3 for like £1 or £1.50 each. And obviously they're backward compatible on the Xbox One S and obviously the Series X. So I completed Mass Effect 1 and made certain decisions in there. So I understood why some people said the storylines of that and why they loved Mass Effect 1 being their favourite. So I've got all three. And after I bought all three, I heard the story that they were releasing a remastered version of each game, which obviously, as you can see here, was Mass Effect Legendary Edition. And at the time, they had put the Legendary Edition on EA Plays, and because I had Game Pass Ultimate, which includes EA Plays, I decided to play Mass Effect 1 remastered again, but obviously with the game being remastered. And when you compare the 360 version of it to the remastered version, there's such a huge difference in terms of the actual visual quality of the actual game. And then, so in a nutshell, I've played Mass Effect 1 once, the 360 version of it, and I've played the remastered version of it once. I've done both of them twice, believe it or not. So Anyway, and then while I was playing, while I was getting Game Pass Ultimate on a regular basis, I in my local Asda, the one in Tottenham Hale, they had, and this was about 2 years ago, they had this game on sale for £10. But because I was playing it on Game Pass Ultimate, and I thought to myself, you know what, right? And it was easy for me to get the codes, the 1 month or 3 month codes pretty cheap on eBay, which now it isn't, believe it or not. I thought I was iffing and butting on whether or not I should buy it for £10. Even for £10, that was still a good price, because obviously you get all 3 games and all the DLC in it. So I just decided to leave it. And then when I finally, and then when I started to realise that that I wouldn't be able to get Game Pass Ultimate as regular as I would like, and obviously I already did a playthrough of Mass Effect 1 Remastered on my Twitch channel, and then I exported it to YouTube. I thought to myself, you know what, I was kicking myself for not getting it for £10. So I was on the lookout, whether it was on Asda, Tottenham Hale, or anywhere else, to see if I could get it for £10 again. And to my bitter disappointment, couldn't find it for £10. It was still quite expensive. So I thought to myself, you know what, there it is. I've blown my chance of getting this particular game. And today, as of the 13th of May, I went to my local CX, which was closed. I think it was about 30 minutes left before it was closing, and I decided to browse around through the different gaming sections, and then I came across this Mass Effect. It was Legendary Edition for £5. So I thought to myself, this is an absolute bargain. I'm gonna snap this up, and then obviously I did. At first, I thought they couldn't find the disc, because I've had it happen where you get the case and they can't find the disc, and then obviously they can't sell it to you. So it just goes to show that sometimes when it comes to video games, that if you're just, even when you see something still at a very good reduced price, sometimes waiting further still, and sometimes it could be could be months, or could be another year or two, that you'll eventually get the desired game at a really good price. And as you can see, it's £5. And because obviously I played the Mass Effect 1 Remastered, and completed that game, and the certain decisions I made, it made more sense to get the Xbox Series, the Xbox version of it, rather than the PlayStation version of it, because obviously certain decisions that I have made in my that I've made in the first game. And also when I checked to see the price of Mass Effect on the PlayStation 4, it was like something like £18, which I thought was really expensive. And I can't work out for the life of me why the PlayStation 4 version is £18 and the Xbox One is £5. Not that I'm complaining, because as I said before, I've got both. I've got a Series X and a PlayStation 5, so that doesn't bother me in any shape or form that I got it like that. So I'm just happy that I managed to get the actual game. If you can bear with me a second, I'm just gonna double check on CX's site to see whether or not it actually is £15. I'm just double checking, because obviously bear in mind that CX are always changing their prices on certain games all the time. So you can go in at one for like a couple of weeks and see a game at one price, and then you go in another time and then they dropped the actual price of the game, or even worse yet, they've increased the game. I mean, you dread not buying it. Okay, I'm just checking on the PlayStation version of it. I was wrong. It's £15. So yeah, I've basically got it £10 cheaper. So I'm not complaining. And that version of it again comes with 2 discs as well. So I'm not complaining. So the PS4 version of it, I stand corrected, is £15. And the Xbox version of the game is £5. Now, if you're somebody that's really loves the work of BioWare, and you've played Mass Effect games before, and you want to put, either you haven't, or you've played it in the games in the past on the PlayStation 3 or the Xbox, I definitely would recommend getting this version, whichever system you get it for, because the remastered version of each of the games is literally night and day in terms of they really put in a a really good effort into actually doing it, and it's also a very, very good game as well. So if you've got an Xbox, if you've got an Xbox One or even a Series X, and you have never played the game before, you have, as I said, pick it up for £5 because that's an absolute bargain if you see it at your local CX. So without further ado, we'll try and take the stickers off. And it comes with all 3 games, so you get Mass Effect 1, Mass Effect 2, and you get all the DLC content that was ever released on each of the consoles. And I think it's on the disc, so it's not actually on a separate sheet, which is what Capcom have got a bad habit of doing with their Street Fighter games in terms of putting it on this. So obviously you're gonna have the benefit of the game running on an Xbox One, still looking fairly good, especially if you're using an Xbox One X. And then obviously if you've got this Series X, it's going to look even better. Look at the back of it here. It says, relive the legend for full saga together. Your story, your choice. Remastered for a new generation. And it says, one person is all that stands between humanity and the greatest threat it's ever faced. Relive the legendary Commander Shepard, because again you can play him as a man or as a woman, in the highly acclaimed Mass Effect trilogy. With the Mass Effect Legendary Edition, this includes the single player base content and over 40 DLC from the Mass Effect 2 and Mass Effect 3, including the promo weapons, armors, and packs remastered and optimized for 4K Ultra HD. So you've got that, so that's really good. For the Series X, optimized for the Xbox Series X, smart delivery, 4K Ultra HD, HDR10, and obviously it's going to be single player, so bear that in mind. I know they did release Mass Effect Andromeda. I know I've got it, but I don't know what on see what system that they actually released it on. So we shall look at the stuff here. Now we shall open this up, and as you can see, the Xbox put their games on the left hand side. I'm still getting used to that. Now it doesn't look like it, but there are 2 discs. So you've got the disc 1, which is the play disc, and hopefully disc 2, yeah. And then you've got, get rid of that thing there. You've got disc 2, which says it's the data installation disc. So I don't know how that's going to work, but I'm sure you'll get the instructions when you install it on your console. No color manuals, but you do get, as you can see, a manual. You get the manual controls for Mass Effect 1. You get you get a little thing here for the combat controls for Mass Effect 2. And then when we turn this around, you get the combat control for Mass Effect 3. Now I'm trying to see if they're actually any different, and so far they look pretty much identical. So the only difference is that on the joystick, on the joystick of Mass Effect 1, it's a strafe, move, or crouch. But on the Mass Effect 2, it's strafe, move, or show map. And then on Mass Effect 2, the X button is melee, same as it is on Mass Effect 1. But the A button is the weapon on Mass Effect 2, and on Mass Effect 1, the A button is grenade. So yeah, I can see why they've done it. Certain controls are going to be a little bit different, and it's a similar thing with Mass Effect 3, where the controls are actually different to Mass Effect 2. So bear it in mind that if when you're playing the games, that they're going to be the control system is going to be a little bit different. We've got the second disc here. Don't know what this thing is. This thing there. Looks in excellent condition. It looks almost brand new. And then the same thing with the disc one. Again, looks totally brand new as well. So yeah, fit right on top of each other. Obviously, Blu-ray discs are much more durable than DVDs. So put them together, put them on top of it, it's not really gonna do any harm to it. But yeah, this is Mass Effect Legendary Edition, where, as I said before, contains Mass Effect 1, Mass Effect 2, Mass Effect 3, and all 40 DLCs going across Mass Effect 1 to Mass Effect 3. So, again, as I said, if you're somebody that's played the Mass Effect games before, or you haven't, or even if you haven't, especially if you haven't, it's going to be an absolute treat. I've one of these ones where in my younger days I would not have played these kind of games. And, I decided to take a chance of, when Mass Effect 2 came out on the PlayStation 3, and absolutely loved it. Again, I was hearing stories about people saying Mass Effect 1 was the best one out of all the series. But for me, Mass Effect 2 for me is definitely my favourite, even though I played it. That's the first one I played. So technically in order, on the non-remastered versions, I've played in order Mass Effect 2, Mass Effect 3, then Mass Effect 1. So it's kind of really, I played it in the wrong kind of order. And obviously, there's Andromeda, and it's supposed to be, and then I know that they are making a new EA game, because we've heard the horror stories of Mass Effect Andromeda with the graphics and the distortion of the graphics and it being all over the place, and then they had to do so much in patching it. Obviously, they're a bit of more than they can chew when doing the next gen version. So hopefully with the next Mass Effect game coming out, that with the systems of the Series X and the PS5, that will truly get a compelling and next gen version of this great franchise. Because I know BioWare made this game, but I know that Electronic Arts have a bad history when it comes to certain games. Obviously, we know with the Dead Space was the first two games brilliant. Dead Space 3, some people don't like it, but I still do. And obviously, there's news of the fact that that they recently did the Dead Space remake, and EA have announced that they have no plans of making a Dead Space 2 remake, because according to them, it didn't sell enough, even though they didn't release the figures, which I think is very, very unfortunate, because I've played the game via EA Play when I got a month free trial on the PlayStation 5, and the game was excellent. And I played it again on the Xbox Series X as part of EA Plays, and also on its own, because it was doing it as a promotion price for 79p. And then when I won a Game Pass Ultimate 1 month subscription, I think I played it again, because obviously you can carry over your weapons and stuff like that, and carry on your upgrades, and the game was absolutely brilliant. I mean, at first I wasn't sure, I liked it, but there were certain things that kind of irritated me. But then once I got the hang of it, I knew what I was supposed to do, and the game was kind of really fun. So really unfortunate that who knows, maybe they might change their mind with the Mass Effect, Dead Space 2 remake. I hope that somewhere along the line they change their mind and do it. But as I said before, the Mass Effect trilogy, or the Legendary Edition, the games are absolutely brilliant. As I said before, in my younger days, I would not have these games were not my cup of tea. Even watching people do it on YouTube, or other people I know that played it, that I know, I didn't like it until I actually played it myself, and you realise it's the closest thing for me that you can kind of get to Star Trek in a way, with being and even Star Wars as well. With me being a big sci-fi fan and being a big Star Trek and Star Wars fan. So that's why I really got into it and absolutely loved it. And I'm looking forward to playing at some point Andromeda and the new Mass Effect game when they decide to release and show more of it and make a big announcement of it. So I'm looking forward to that. So this is Mass Effect Legendary Edition for the Xbox One and Series X. As I said before, this was perfect for me, because obviously I already played the remastered version of it, and the game save is already done. So now I can at some point start doing Mass Effect 2 remastered, and then obviously the choices that I made from the first game will carry over to Mass Effect 2. So even getting the play, so it works out better for me getting the Xbox version of it rather than the PlayStation version of it, because and plus it's a hell of a lot cheaper, so I'm not complaining. So it just shows, as I said before, perseverance is always a good thing when it's come to waiting for prices of products to drop. And sometimes you have to wait a long time, sometimes you don't, but usually in the end it kind of all balances out. So I'm really glad to finally have this in my collection. Anyway, I hope people found this video informative, and please feel free to share with your friends and family. Also, if you can give this video a big thumbs up, I would really appreciate that. That will allow people to find my YouTube channel and content on YouTube recommendation page. This is because of the YouTube algorithms favour the bigger YouTubers, so their channel and content get advertised ahead of the smaller YouTubers like myself. And speaking of subscription, if you already haven't subbed to my channel, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. If you want to see unboxings like this, video game playthroughs, unboxings of everything, video games, Blu-rays, DVDs, statues, all sorts of things that I do. So moving TV reviews and movie posters. So there's always something. There's something for everybody on my YouTube channel. Just before Christmas, we hit the 500 sub mark, so a big thank you to everybody, the subs old and new. A few weeks ago, we hit 600 subs. Again, big thank you to the subs old and new. I really appreciate that, because without you guys, old and new, subscribing to my YouTube channel, I wouldn't be where I am. So I'll be ignorant to think that it was all my hard work. Although I am filming it, but at the end of the day, it's you, the subscribers out there, that have made me get to where I need to be, and have made me bigger and bigger and bigger in terms of my subscription. I'm trying to think of the right word. My subscribers, should I say, in terms of my subscriber base, so to speak. At the moment, even now, we're already nearly halfway to 700 YouTube subs. So I never thought that my channel would grow that fast, to be honest, because it was just one little sub here and there, but now it's growing so quickly. So thank you to all of you, old and new. Really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. The next milestone, or the big milestone, should I say, will be 1,000 subs. So we'll try and think of something to do special for that video. But again, we've got a long way to go before we get there. But sooner rather than later, we'll get there. So hopefully we'll get there at some point. Anyway, just leaves me to say, wherever you are in the world, please stay safe, and I'll speak to you again on the next video. Bye for now.